You have 3 hearts and none of them beat for love. One pumps blood to the rest of your body. The other 2, one on each side, work exclusively for your gills. 3 organs doing the job that in most animals only one does, and yet, when you swim, the central heart stops. It doesn't fail. It doesn't collapse. It simply stops beating because the swimming motion compresses it, and your body accepts that as normal. That's why you prefer to crawl, not out of laziness, because swimming literally leaves you breathless. Your blood is blue. Not metaphorically, not at certain angles of light, real blue. Because instead of iron, you use copper to carry oxygen. Hemocyanin works better than hemoglobin in cold water and low oxygen. It's an engineering solution that took millions of years to develop. But it comes at a price. In heat, your blood loses efficiency. Climate change is not a future problem for you. You're already living it. And that's still not the strangest thing about what you are. Your mother laid between 100,000 and 400,000 eggs and cared for them without sleeping, without eating, fanning them constantly so the water wouldn't stagnate. She never moved away. She refused food. She refused everything. By the time you finally hatched, she had already been dying for weeks. She never saw you swim. She never knew if you survived. She only did the one thing her body asked of her, and then she went dark. You entered the ocean the size of a grain of rice. 99% of your siblings didn't make it past the first week. You did, for now. You are a temperate water octopus, mollusk, cephalopod, no bones, no shell, no armor of any kind. Just muscle, skin, and something no other invertebrate has in the same proportion. Brain. You have 500 million neurons. But here's what almost no one understands. Most of those neurons are not in your head. They're in your arms. Each arm has autonomy. Each one can sense, react, and make decisions without waiting for instructions from you. If something threatens your arm while you're sleeping, that arm reacts on its own. Technically, you are 9 brains operating in parallel with different levels of authority. 8 peripheral brains and 1 central one that coordinates but doesn't control everything. This means you don't know exactly what your arms are doing at every moment. Time passes, you're now 20 centimeters long. You found a crack between the rocks and turned it into your den. You decorated it. Different octopuses have different styles. Some collect shells, others prefer flat stones. There's something in you that selects, that discards, that has preferences. You went out to hunt, and this is where your biology becomes absurd. You can change color in 200 milliseconds. You have no fixed pigments. You have chromatophores, muscle cells connected directly to the nervous system that expand and contract, changing your skin pattern in real time. Beneath those, you have iridophores that reflect light, creating iridescence. And on top, muscular papillae that can change your skin texture from completely smooth to rough as a rock in under 1 second. You are colorblind. Your eyes don't detect different wavelengths. Technically, you should be incapable of color camouflage. The current theory is that you use the shape of your pupil to separate wavelengths through chromatic aberration, using focus the way others use cone cells. You lure the crab with movement. One arm extends slowly. The crab sees it but doesn't identify the threat. It ignores it. Second arm. The crab turns. And then all 8 arms close in less than a second. You wrap it completely. Your beak, the only hard part of your body, horny, shaped like a parrot's, drives into the joints of the shell. You inject saliva loaded with neurotoxins. The crab stops moving in seconds. You carry it to your den and eat carefully because even eating requires precision. You're soft inside. A bone driven through you would kill you. Everything goes well until something you didn't expect appears. A moray eel. It winds between the rocks with calculated slowness. Its olfactory system is calibrated to detect exactly what you are. The problem isn't just that it's bigger, it's that it can follow you into spaces where other predators can't enter. You have no absolute refuge. You change color instantly. Rock, shadow, rough texture. The moray passes within 10 centimeters of you and doesn't react. You wait. You don't move. 3 minutes without moving can make all the difference. And here, something your biology does without you deciding it kicks in. Your chromatophores hold the pattern active even when your attention is elsewhere. The moray disappears between the rocks. You survived. But there's something you don't know yet. You have been alive for 9 months. The average for your species is 1 to 2 years. You are already in the second half of your life, and your body knows it even if you don't. Time passes, something changes. A chemical signal in the water. Diffuse, directional, impossible to ignore. Your behavior starts shifting without you making a conscious decision. You spend less time hunting, more time moving. You cross territories you used to avoid. And then you find her. Another octopus. Female. Larger than you. Octopus courtship is not gentle. It's a tense negotiation between two solitary predators. You approach while changing color. She doesn't retreat, but she doesn't come closer either. You extend one arm slowly. The specialized arm. The hectocotylus. She lets you approach. The transfer happens. And here is where the story becomes irreversible. The optic glands received a signal. Now they are producing hormones that will actively accelerate your aging. Your body stopped prioritizing its own survival. Resources that went towards cellular repair are now redirected elsewhere. You start eating less, not because there's no food, but because the hunger is changing. Your coordination is still precise, but something in the rhythm slows down. Some responses take a little longer. You don't notice. You have no reference for how you used to be. Every day is the only day you know. Scientists know, remove the optic glands and she abandons the eggs. Starts eating again, lives months longer. The aging wasn't inevitable. It was an instruction written into your biology. You are disposable by design, not because you are weak, because you worked. Some become erratic, they swim in circles, they bite their own arms. It's the nervous system receiving contradictory signals as its circuits degrade in real time. You don't reach that. One morning, your central heart simply beats more slowly. There is no predator, there is no wound. The water is at the right temperature. The branchial hearts keep working. The central one fails first. You stay in your den, not out of fear, because it's the only place you recognize as yours. Outside, in another crack 40 meters away, a chain of white eggs hangs from a rock ceiling. A female fans them without rest. She doesn't sleep, she doesn't eat, she only tends. She has already been dying for weeks, and she is not going to stop. Inside those eggs, something is already developing neurons. 8 arms, 3 hearts, blue blood. An animal that will be born without a shell into an ocean that wants to eat it. That will learn to hunt without anyone teaching it. That will live alone for its entire life. And that will die exactly when its biology decides it has done its part. Not because something goes wrong, but because everything went perfectly right. Every extraordinary mechanism exists only to reach one specific moment. And when that moment ends, the system begins to shut down. No error, no failure, just a design so efficient it included its own expiration date. What part feels most impossible to accept? 9 brains as one, aging as instruction, designed to last so little? Because nature doesn't need to exaggerate to be brutal.